Good Lord, I haven't heard applause like that since Rachel Maddow was in town, which is great, by the way. Welcome to More Up North. I'm Shannyn Morin. We're going to have a great couple of interviews for you tonight, one with Diane Benson, of course, who's running for Lieutenant Governor with Ethan Berkowitz. We're going to have Harry Crawford, who's running against Don Young, who is somewhere grouching about right now. And then we've got a great panel tonight. Tank Jones, of course, the notorious Tank Jones. Tom Begich will be here with number information. And just somebody near and dear to my heart. I have so much respect for Republican Bill Walker. He will be here giving us his thoughts. So come back and join us for More Up North. Welcome back to More Up North. This isn't exactly one of our evergreen shows about issues where you can watch it over and over when I'm on vacation. No, this is a very timely show. This is the last week's show before the election of November 2nd. And let me just start by saying, I do care who you're voting for, but I think you should vote, even if you're voting for someone I don't support. I think it's very important, just putting that out there first. We've got with us tonight former Democratic State House member, now challenging Don Young for U.S. Congress. Say hello to Harry Crawford.
I'm not a former yet. I still have my seat.
That's true.
Until the end of the year.
That's right. And she's a Democratic candidate for Lieutenant Governor running with Ethan Berkowitz and gave Don Young a run for his money 4 years ago. Please welcome Diane Benson. You know, it's funny that you both run against Don now. You're still running against Don. God, the last person that beat him was dead. I mean, let's think about that.
What's that say about us?
We gotta, he's gotta go this time, folks. But I want to talk about that dynamic for just a couple of minutes, and then what else is going on in the race, which is, and I wasn't suggesting suicide or anything like that. I'm just
self-immolation, maybe.
Is that I know Don Young. You both know him. You've debated him, and he's been this sort of like curmudgeon, right? It's like something off of Sesame Street that lives in a garbage can. and well, come on, he's sweet. Oscar is, and comparatively, I've never seen him the way he's been on this cycle, ever. And I don't know if Lou was keeping him sweeter or what it is, but I have never seen him be as nasty as he has been on this. And what's your take on that? You ran against him and are still friendly enough with him.
Well, in 2006, Don and I really went at it. I kept poking him like a bear, and he responded with quite a growl, and which was great for me because I knew that he could be agitated. And I think that's what made my numbers go up so quickly in that final few weeks. Unfortunately, we didn't have long enough to just completely do the job. Ethan followed when he won the primary in 2008, and he came so close. But I think there's that aura of Alaska that somehow he's managed to capture that people still buy into.
He does, and it's just not real. I mean, does he have like an Atco trailer or something in Fort Yukon that he visits?
Actually, I think it is.
Once a year or something, and he lives in D.C., and he has for almost 4 decades. So how was it last night when he was just, I mean, the thing that he's always been grumpy and grouchy and kind of bitey, but the condescending nature that I saw.
He was on good behavior last night in comparison to a couple of the debates that we've had this week. He really has growly is an understatement. He turns around and sticks his finger in my face, that sort of thing. So
that's so weird.
Yeah.
Are you just like, I would just start laughing and be like, really?
Well, I mean, when I asked about the Chewis family, who they've showered him with tens of thousands of dollars this year, is so much so that they've had to send back about $16,000 because they overpaid. He just said, "I don't know who you're talking about." Just a bald-faced lie. You know darn well when they're the largest donors that he has this year, that he knows good and well who these people are and what the quid pro quo is that they won't.
But we're not holding anybody accountable in this country, leadership accountable when they lie. It seems to be a free-for-all anymore. And I see it in the campaigns. I see it in this campaign, where lies just come out of mouths so easily, and nobody's saying that that's wrong, other than the opponent. And we've got to care more.
He just really thumbed his nose at me when he said, "Well, you should know how to pronounce their name." I mean, it's Chouest. I'm not sure if it's Chewist. Looks like Chewist.
Yeah, I mean, we're familiar. It's an oil and gas company. So.
Yeah, they own a shipyard in Gonzales, Louisiana, but they've showered him with $50,000 to $60,000. That was the last report.
I want to get back to what Diane just said about not really appreciating a candidate's truthfulness. And we do see that all across the country. We've seen people come out and lie about records, their own, lie about what they didn't do or did do, lie about what their land deal wasn't. And, it's like this Pinocchio contest. I expect to totally see their noses growing while on stage in front of you sometimes. And I think that people, what they're going to have to do, and I'll ask you if you agree with this or if you think there's a better idea, but I think part of what we need to do is vote for people that are honest, even if we don't completely agree with all the things they're being honest. Because I've talked to people who were Miller supporters who are now going to McAdams, and they said, "I don't agree with him, but he's not a liar." And I'm thinking, wow, that's a value system. Like, I would rather have someone represent me who doesn't represent my ideals, but isn't going to be out there, BSing on my behalf or to me.
And I live in Chugiak, and a lot of the people around me, we don't share the same ideas. And I've had my neighbors tell me that they're supporting me because they know I'll tell the truth. They said, we're different on choice issues, but that's all right. They at least know where I stand. And I think that's the best that we should give. We should represent be true to ourselves, and at the same time represent the people's wishes.
So how has it been for both of your races, having the U.S. Senate race really suck the oxygen, not just out of Alaska, but I mean, it's a national. This could be the Senate breaker one way or the other. And it was, this was a red state. We're turning it blue.
I think it has somewhat with the media. But to say that it has across the board would be incorrect. I mean, the Stellar high school students, for example, 31 of them had the option of working on any campaign they wanted. 28 of them chose our campaign, the Berkowitz-Benson campaign. So I think we've worked hard. We've attracted a lot of people who are very committed, and I mean, I think it shows. Look at the numbers and the enthusiasm about this race, even though it's not the sexy race in the sense that the Senate race is.
Yes, that's right, because the U.S. Senate race, boy, isn't that sexy.
It isn't.
Maybe if we could just put up pictures of all three of them on a red sofa laid out, that'd really do it. And what about for your race, Harry?
It was an amazing thing. Almost the morning after the primary was over. It was
primary hangover.
A lot of people that had been working with us. I said, we think that Scott has the great chance to get in now, and at that point, I think he was a virtual certainty. Because I don't think that Joe Miller can get more than 40% of the vote. I believe that's the extent of what he can garner in this state.
Well, he's dropped even more. Right now his negatives are at 68.
Well, I mean,
that means 68 out of 100 people are like, I don't like him.
Right.
And in a two-way race, that works real good for you.
In a two-way race,
if you're just the other guy that nobody knows.
Yeah, and I believe that Lisa Murkowski getting into the race made him competitive once again, because otherwise he was going to be beaten 2-1 at a minimum.
So what has that done for your campaign, other than people left? Do you think that there are moderate, we live in a state with 52% independent, mavericky, roguey voters. Mm-hmm. You think that they're looking a little bit more at other options now that the Republican ticket in the U.S. Senate race is blown up? The other Republican write-in ticket isn't, write-ins aren't viable. And then you think that they're starting to look a little bit differently at your campaigns? Do you think that this momentum, because it feels like 08 in Alaska right now among the blue-ish folks here. It feels like there's that surge and that momentum that's really happening. I can't imagine that it would do anything but help you.
I feel it over this last week that things are moving in our direction, and I don't know how much this surge will help, but I believe it is trending our way. So we'll see what happens by Tuesday. Alaska politics, it's a surprise every day.
I know, and you can check your clock, and it's changing. Just every couple of hours right now, things are moving so fast. And I mean, I look at our last race where Mark Begich won, and Don Young won. That means people voted for Mark Begich and Don Young.
Absolutely.
Okay. That doesn't work in the boxes that everybody's trying to put people in. And I think there was a certain mentality of we can't let go of everybody, all the old timers at one time. And there were things that an atmosphere that you couldn't really poll and find out. And that race the polls on that race had Ethan ahead by 8, 10 points, and it was opposite. So
there's a certain point where you just don't pay attention to polls.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you kind of get a feel for where people are at. And I agree, right now, people love to define themselves, we have found, as independent voters. They don't want to be stuck with the party issues and the divisions that the parties have created. They don't even most people don't even want to be identified with that lately.
Right.
And we're finding that, which actually works to our advantage, because Ethan Berkowitz and I both haven't particularly been the darlings of the party.
Are you kidding? You've been party rejects for years.
but you know what? We are very proud of ourselves.
You should be. You guys
for what we put out there on our own and worked very hard for.
Well, I'm really happy to vote for both of you. I get to do that on Tuesday. I'm waiting. I wear my Sunday best and I go in and vote on the day. And I can't wait. It's
so do I.
Great. And we'll see you guys.
But I'll be in blue jeans.
You'll be in blue jeans. Well, that's what you wear on Sundays. I've seen you. Thank you guys both for coming in.
Thank you.
I appreciate it so much.
And my son is here, so I just had to point that out and embarrass him. Hi, son.
All right, we'll be right back with more Up North in our panel.
Yeah!